Some of the most interesting rivalries and derbies across the world are the Manchester Derby, the El Clasico, which is contested between Barcelona and Real Madrid, the North London Derby, which is contested between Tottenham and Arsenal. Today, we are going to be bringing you an intriguing derby, which is contested in Turkey. It is between two giants of Turkey, Fenerbahce and Galatasaray. It is known as the Intercontinental Derby or the Istanbul Derby. Let's look back at the history to know where it all began. The history of the Istanbul Derby cannot be completed without tracing its origins, which is quite interesting. Galatasaray was founded by the prestigious Galatasaray High School, whose students consisted of children of Istanbul's wealthy, making Galatasaray the club of the elite, in stark contrast to Fenerbahce, which was founded by the local and prided as the club of the people. Fenerbahce won its common man's love due to them winning the first non-domestic competition in Turkish football history, which attracted fans from all across the country. Galatasaray, on the other hand, expanded its fan base from bringing more of Turkey's elite into the fold. The rivalry was formed on the basis of class. However, as the times changed, the class divide rapidly vanished, and now both the clubs boast a fan base from all walks of the life. Let's look at some of the initial meetings of both the clubs. The first ever game between two clubs was held on 17th of January 1909 at Papazekleri, the home of Fenerbahce. The game finished at 2-0 in favor of Galatasaray, who continued to dominate the fixtures until Fenerbahce finally got the upper hand 5 years later on 4th of January 1914. It was all peaceful until 1934. Things had initially remained so peaceful that nobody thought there was a rivalry creeping in between the two. On 1934, 23rd February, both teams went into the game with a burning desire to win, which showed in their gameplay as the match had to be stopped on many occasions due to the rash fouls from both the sides. The hostility on the pitch made its way into the stands, and before anyone knew it, a fight broke out and both the teams had to be stopped from playing. The referee had no option other than to abandon the game. A tragedy had been averted on that day, but the word was never used ever again to describe these two teams. The rivalry between the two teams had gotten so intense that the incidents of fireworks, hostile chanting, destroying stadium equipment, fist fights, and rioting became a commonplace. In fact, the trouble is anticipated before and after every contested game is played between the two teams.
All that glorious history between the two clubs, boiling with passion, intensity, and love for their sides, makes for a very volatile concoction. The clash of identities between the Galatasaray supporters, who are synonymous with the high-class Turkish elite society, fluent in Western education, while Fenerbahce, nicknamed the Yellow Canaries, represented the working-class people of a thriving and hard-working Asian part of Istanbul. Violence has always been a part of this fixture with tragic consequences. The stakes are always high whenever these two great rivals meet on the football pitch. There were reports that made headlines worldwide in 2012 and 2013, where supporters from both the sides were stabbed on the streets following the derby, which eventually led to the away fans being barred from attending the derby. One of the most controversial and talked about incidents in the Turkish and European derby came in the 1996 Turkish Cup finals when Galatasaray manager Graham Souness ran the whole length of the Fenerbahce stadium pitch and planted a huge red and gold flag in the middle of the pitch following his team's victory over the then league leaders. This bewildered the home fans as they poured onto the pitch and almost grabbed hold of Souness when the Turkish police intervened and separated them. Souness has since been regarded with a cult status in the Galatasaray folklore, while a lifelong villain in the Fenerbahce hearts since that incident. The rivalry in the stands did not always allow and give way to perpetual violence among the fans. Football as a sport managed to unite the fans of Galatasaray, Fenerbahce and Beşiktaş, three most prominent clubs in all of Turkey, to fight towards a common cause, fighting the system for their unethical practices targeted towards the fans, or uniting against governmental regimes to dispel the laws that targeted the destruction of parks and freedom of speech. The rivalry between the fans of Turkey's biggest clubs bore fruit, bringing the fans together for a common cause and reinforcing the age-old saying of "United we stand, divided we fall."
The history of the Istanbul Derby is indeed an intriguing one, and the events leading up to it, as well as the ones causing it to continue raging, easily puts it up on par with some of the greatest rivalries in the world football. And although the rivalry can be a mouth-watering one always hopes that supporters give peace a chance.